From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with OSU beat writer Nathan Ruiz. Nathan, Cowboys are running out of time, essentially. They talked about a 4-game season, essentially, for their NCAA tournament hopes. Won the first of those games, but then lost the second one. Now they get ready to head to Ames, Iowa, then host Kansas to finish out the regular season. Lay out the scenarios here for us. I mean, Iowa State's not a very good team. Everybody knows Kansas is a very good team. How important is there importance on winning these 2 last regular season games?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think just from a confidence standpoint going forward, the opportunity to put together consecutive conference wins for the first time this season, there's a lot on the line there. Also, OSU is still in a very narrow perspective fighting for an NCAA tournament spot. The possibility is still there. No Big 12 team has finished below 8-10 in conference play and made it as an at-large, so that possibility is still there for OSU as a 6-10 team with 2 games left. An interesting finish to the season, playing the number 10 team in the conference in Iowa State at Ames, and then ending the season at home against the 14 straight conference champion Kansas. So there's still some opportunity here. The big thing for me, the big takeaway is that OSU has the opportunity to sweep Kansas, which in the Bill Self era, no team in the Big 12 has swept a home-and-home series against Kansas. So the opportunity is there for OSU now. A couple teams have had the opportunity this season. OU had the opportunity. Texas Tech had the opportunity. Both of them came up short in that second game. So OSU on its senior day, possibly fighting for an NCAA tournament spot, still has that possibility.
Well, and I guess there's a question. I don't know what the calculus will be for Kansas coming into that game, but they've already wrapped up the Big 12 tournament or Big 12 championship. Seemingly a pretty high seed in the NCAA tournament. What will their motivation be? Do you think they'll come into Gallagher-Iba seeing that as a game that they really get jazzed for?
I think so, just because of what I mentioned earlier, the ability to avoid a sweep. I think it's a revenge game for them in a lot of ways. That's what they're out to prove. Probably still fighting for a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Also, it'd be a good shape-up. I don't think Bill Self is going to let that team go in and say, hey, we're going to head to Kansas City coming off a loss. I think this team is looking to end its season on a high note, build some momentum heading into March Madness, and hopefully from their perspective, put themselves in a position where they can make a deep run.
You know, you mentioned the 8-10 mark as being sort of a low water. That's where the NCAA selection committee, that's as far as they've gone for Big 12 teams. But if you think about if OSU could get there, they'd have all these top 10 wins. They'd have swept Kansas. And then there's obviously games left in the Big 12 tournament. I mean, if they get to 8-10, could you see a scenario where, you know, if they win 1 or 2, maybe they get back on the bubble and then they just kind of have to wait and see?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how it works out. There is one random scenario where 7 different games have to work out a certain way, and an 8-10 OSU team is number 6 in the Big 12. More than likely going to end up in that 7-9 range, and so it'll be interesting to see where they end up, because if they're in that 7-10 game, they play Iowa State again, and then face the number 2 seed, which is most likely Texas Tech or West Virginia at this point. If they're in that 8 or 9 game, they end up playing Kansas again if they advance to the second round. So even if they do sweep Kansas in the regular season, it's hard to imagine winning 3 straight against that Jayhawk squad. So there's a lot of different scenarios working out here. I think at 8-10, the possibility is still there. It likely would take a win or 2 in the Big 12 tournament, but the possibility is definitely still there. If OSU is able to win these last 2 to make it as an at-large, more than likely they're going to have to go into Kansas City and have to win the whole thing in order to make it to the tournament, but the possibility is still there.
All right, lots of high-level math. Thanks for doing that for us, Nathan. Again, it kind of becomes all moot if the Cowboys don't go to Ames and win on Tuesday night. 6 o'clock tip up there. ESPNU is how you can watch Cowboys and Cyclones. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.